You're a goddamn fool, Herman, Herman. Claymation looking ass, firing top brass, bottom of your class, oh Herman. Herman, Herman. Stupid, stupid Herman. Herman, no clue what you're doing, oh Herman. Somehow you have a job, working like a slob. No one likes you, Herman, you suck. Herman loves horizon, even though it's mid. Now he runs PlayStation like a mark of skid. Herman, Herman, Herman. Stupid, stupid Herman. Herman, no clue what you're doing, oh Herman. Somehow you have a job, working like a slob. No one likes you, Herman, you suck. Herman smells like fish, probably eats children. I kinda think he's a lizard, a literal rock would be better. Herman, Herman, Herman. Stupid, stupid Herman. Herman, no clue what you're doing, oh Herman. Somehow you have a job, working like a slob. No one likes you, Herman, you suck. Herman, you suck. Herman, you suck.
You can't tell me he doesn't sort of look like a lizard. You can't. You can't. Luke, that's mean. Yeah, he's like a multimillionaire that's destroying a company that was once beloved. Okay, I get to make fun of him. Dems to rules. Okay, Dems to rules. Just like I'm realizing I left Romeo's horn on the floor and it looks kind of like a massive turd. I swear it's a horn. Romeo loves to chew on horns. It's like his favorite thing. So I bring him down here to the studio and he just like noms on it and gums on it. But because he's a hound, he has like no jaw strength at all because he's bred to like go and fetch, quail that you hunted or raccoons and stuff like that. So he can't like bite stuff hard. So he just kind of like gums it to death. Isn't that funny? But you have to watch him when he's chewing on horns because they can splinter, and that's never good for them. So he only gets to chew it when he's down with me. He only gets to chew it when he's down with me. It's too bad for him. He'd like to be able to play with it all the time, but that's not how that works. Not how that works. How are you guys? How's everybody doing? It's been a second, hasn't it? It's been a minute, but I'm glad to be here. Yesterday was busy with secret stuff. Allegedly. So my schedule filled up, and by the time I finished that stuff, I was like, I have an hour to stream. So I was like, this probably isn't going to work. So I decided to pump the brakes and stream today instead. And even still, we'll go for about, a little bit over 2 hours. We have a good number of things to get through. But then starting tomorrow, we should be back to regularly scheduled programming. And tomorrow we get to talk about Crimson Desert stuff in a lot more detail. So buckle up for that. Buckle up, buckaroo. It's going to be a good time. And I expect that it's going to be hours of talking about that. So just you wait. Lots to talk about. Yeah. It's a good time, a busy time. Yeah, I forgot there's even like a fun surprise thing happening tomorrow as well that you guys will get to find out about. It's going to be cool. It's going to be good. Yeah. Tomorrow, what time exactly? I don't remember. Boom. Like Luke's being so coy. He can't say. Nope. I forgot. I have it written down, so it'll be okay, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Sometime tomorrow. I don't think it's late. I think it's reasonably timed, but you never know. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be a good time. It is my birthday period. Happy birthday period to you too, Samuel. Glad to have you. Happy birthday. If that's real. Either way, I'm glad to have you. Either way, I'm glad to have you. It's good to see you. And then Mix, also thank you for the $3 sticker, super sticker, whatever YouTube calls it. Is Twitch still down, dude? Twitch is still down. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Weird, man. Weird. I don't know why it's doing that. That's crazy. Yeah, it should not be down. It says it's sending data to Twitch, but it's definitely not receiving it. That's interesting. I don't know why that is. Sorry, Twitch fam. Sorry. Sucks to suck. Sucks to suck. Twitch in the EU works. Well, what I mean is that I'm trying to co-stream to Twitch and it's just not, they're not receiving anything. Like I see it on my end, it says sending data. On Twitch's end, they're not receiving anything. Maybe if I disconnect all of this, remove channel. Okay, remove. And I like re-add it. Maybe that works. Anyway, we have a good number of things to go through. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. I can't wait. And I've missed everybody. A couple of the stories we were going to touch on are now outdated, obviously. Because like we could talk about the Blue Point news that broke about the Bloodborne thing that they were working on. I think most people have let their thoughts out. So it's probably, you know, anything that was needed to be said has been said. But either way, we'll get there. Enable transcoding. There we go. 1920 by 1080. And then Twitch's measly little 6,000 kilobit per second bit rate. I'm so sorry. The fact that Twitch still can't go over 6,000 is crazy. Talk about Xbox being dead. Dude, this is maybe gonna shock some people, but there's actually like some potentially exciting little information that I've clipped and talked about. For example, like Asha Sharma is going and talking with like Major Nelson, old school Xbox dude, which is crazy. Like she's inviting him over. Like what? Like why is he there? You know, like seeing him there, I all of a sudden went, oh wait, she might actually be serious. Like she might actually be trying to like revitalize Xbox. Like that is crazy. That's crazy. She might actually be trying. Yeah, I just deleted Twitch and re-added it, and it's still not sending anything to Twitch. So I think this might be a Restream.io issue, and we might need to do a good number of overhauls. Yeah. Great. That's fantastic. Yeah, might have to redo all that. Yeah, they're going to turn him into an AI. I wouldn't put it past him. You never know, man. You never know. I will just say this, that like if you're actually going back and they're adding back in some of the OGs, that I cannot fathom them doing that if their plan is to sunset it and just shut it down. Because there's kind of two thoughts. Either, well, maybe three. Either we need it. You know what I'm going to do. Also, somebody on our Discord made a Luke stream bingo, and it's all I can think about now whenever I'm streaming. Okay, also, this is cursed. Hold on. One of you guys made this in the Discord. Get out. Banned. She's gonna be a dad. Oh my God. That's one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in my life. Dad of boy. So there's that. You're welcome. But this is the Luke bingo. Or one of them. Paste the picture. Damn you. No, that's not working. That's not working. Here it is. It's the D Jacob and Luke Stevens bingo. A 30-minute rant. You mark that off. Sorry, Jacob. Cross that off. God Howard mentioned. Cross that off. Love me some pirate games. Pirate / Egypt theme games. Mention Concord. Mention Jeff. Buckle up, Buckaroo. I'm gonna be a dad. See, I already crossed that off. He's a good boy. I think I said that already. The Yes We Candle is literally behind me. Eve Guimard impression. I've not done that yet. Caleb's mom super chats. Mentioning Herman. Yeah, classic. So, power outage. That's classic. And then MS Paint presentation. Dude, I've already checked off a good number of these. That's crazy. Anyway, what I was going to say before I got distracted, it wasn't quite 30 minutes. What I was going to say is that there's sort of like 3 possibilities for the Asha Sharma thing, okay? We have A, B, and C. A is just, I would try to draw a skull, but I just can't. I'm just going to do sad face because this is just kill it, okay? Maybe she's been hired just to come in and kill Xbox, and then she gets like a $30 million payday by Asha, and she leaves on a yacht and is fine forever. That's just, she came in as the executioner. Some companies do that where they will hire a new executive and their whole job is literally just to execute the company and like shut it down and gut it. That's one option. Option B is that she's going to come in and it's just going to be all AI all the time. So it's sort of revitalizing it, trying to reboot, but I would call this like soft reboot. Okay. And so Game Pass is going to stay the same. Xbox Play Anywhere stays the same, basically being a third-party distributor instead of a first-party console manufacturer and developer. That all is going to stay the same. They're just going to put AI everywhere and then call it a soft reboot while laying people off. That is what it looks like on paper. Option C is that you actually do a full reboot. Dude, my mouse is like freaking out. Is it? Yeah, it's almost dead. That's probably why. A full reboot. And this means return, as she alleged, return to Xbox. Okay. If that's actually what she's doing. Okay. Like if we look at the evidence of what's happening, she's bringing in and meeting with people like Major Nelson, old school Xbox guy. I mean, kind of a legend of like the 360 era. Okay. Like OG. Bringing him back in for meetings is weird if it's option A. I don't know why you'd bring him in if your goal is just to kill it. I don't know. Option A is kill it. Option B is also just kill it. To be fair, this is shoot it in the face. This is slowly poison it over a year or two. So they're the end result is the same, I agree, but sort of different. Let me pull up Asha Sharma. Where is it? Is she still not verified? I'm not sure if she's verified yet. Where's the picture? I don't know. I don't see it. Okay. Anyway, but she had this picture she posted with Major Nelson. She's doing other stuff, trying to talk to fans. Like I saw some people see this and they were like, "Oh my God, she's confirming they're not going to do cross-platform stuff anymore. They're going back to exclusives." That's not at all what this says. Okay. Hi, Asha Shar. As the new Xbox CEO, I hope you understand how important exclusives are and how games like Halo, Forza, Gears, Fable created an identity for Xbox and its players, becoming a key point for Xbox's success. Xbox games must only be on Xbox. She said, hear you. people took that and ran with it like she was confirming it. I don't know, man. I just don't see it that way. I think, just frankly, like if my 3-year-old tells me, oh, I'm actually a school bus, and I'm also gonna fly to school, and I'm also a doctor and a surgeon, I'd be like, hear you, buddy. Gotcha. Cool. It doesn't mean that I'm agreeing fully that I'm going to act as if that's true. It's just like, okay. So I would not, hold to that. Okay. I just wouldn't. You can see the send off. Here's her actual account. Yeah, I don't think. No, she doesn't have the picture of it. I guess it was posted somewhere else. But I don't know why she would be meeting with Major Nelson if option A is what's actually happening. That just seems needlessly like fan servicey, which is stupid. I think meeting with somebody like Major Nelson makes sense. And it's certainly if she ends up hiring him and he gets a job again, because bear in mind, he was just laid off from Unity. So he's looking for a job. If they bring him in, that works much better with option B or C, I think. Because you could say it's a soft reboot featuring iconic Xbox people. We're going to do a lot of branding around Xbox, but everything's going to be AI. Like all the studios are going to be forced to use it across everything. That's the big push. I think it works with both of these. If anything, it might work better here because it kind of gives them the fan service to get fans excited so that they ignore the AI stuff they don't like. The best case scenario is that it's just option C, that she comes in and is like, what made the 360 so successful? Let's do that. I don't know, man. I think it would be great, but we said before this happened, before Phil retired, we said Microsoft probably is going to try to find ways to put AI into everything. They just put a new CEO in position whose background is with Core AI, was the head of it. That to me is like the clearest like red flag you could hope for, okay? Like, I hope it's just an unfortunate coincidence and that Satya looked at it and was like, no, bring it back to the age of 2007. Reboot it. Let's give the fans what they want. Consumer focused, pro-consumer. But this is Microsoft you're talking about. Okay? I agree it'd be great if option C is what it is. But, I mean, come on. Satya Nadella is not your friend, okay? Asha Sharma, probably a very nice person. Also not your friend. She's been put in position in charge of tens of thousands of employees, and her background is in making AI tools that literally replace those employees, okay? So, like, even though she says on Twitter nice things that make you feel good, you got to remember, you don't get to this level without being a corporate shark. Without gobbling up the minnows, baby, okay? You just don't. You don't climb the ladder unless you've kicked some people off it, okay? You just got to remember that. It's really easy to lose sight of the actual dynamic of what's going on here and just hope, but that's not, I think, a great way to go about it. Especially because if you just listen to what executives say, you would end up concluding things very, very differently. You know, Herman, just a matter of like a year or two ago, was talking about how much he loved Blue Point, how talented they were, how valuable they were to the PlayStation roster. And then he just shut them down. Fired everybody. You know, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. That's what I'm saying. Talk is cheap. Let me catch up on this real quick. Xander, thank you for the 5. I know you can't talk about the 6-hour preview of Crimson Desert yet, but are you allowed to say what time your video will drop tomorrow when that embargo is lifted? Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I don't remember, to be honest. I have it written down so I know when to hit publish, but I don't remember. And it's on my other Windows profile. I have a separate Windows account, login, whatever, profile thing for streaming. And so all of my like personal emails don't show up randomly on stream or whatever. But I don't remember what time it is specifically, but I'm not trying to be coy. I think people have said on Twitter what it is, so you can probably just check on Twitter. But yeah, it will go up when it's allowed to go up, and I will talk about it a lot. Tell you what. Vacatal, thank you. I think. Thank you for the 5. I get to listen to you talk about Crimson Desert and build my Lego project Hail Mary at the same time. Ooh, baby, just wait. Just wait. If you missed it, it is official. It is official. If you're not following me on Twitter, you might have missed it. But I do have Crimson Desert as of right now. I do. You don't. Dude, I was so tempted. There were some people just being like, here we go. Another YouTuber has the game before everyone else does. I just wanted to start replying with different jars of jelly as a picture. But then I was like, no, don't feed it. Don't feed it. You know, it was funny. It was funny. But yeah, we'll talk about that March 18th at 3 p.m. Pacific. So that review will go up 3 p.m. Pacific. I've seen some people freaking out over the idea that the reviews drop a day before. That's actually like nowadays, it's not actually particularly rare to do it that way. Especially with digital distribution, it's pretty common to do the day before. It's still reviews are dropping the day before. I'm not too worried about it, frankly. Not to mention that what Will Powers said specifically when he replied to it, Will was just saying like, guys, it's a big game. We want to give reviewers a ton of time to play it. We could set the embargo for a week before, but then you have a week less to play it before your review. So they're like, just give them as much time as we can. So we'll talk about that when the time comes. But my impressions that will go up tomorrow and that we'll be able to talk about on stream, those were all filmed before the review access and all that, so don't worry about anything like that. We'll talk about just that. That smug face in the GIF is actually diabolical. I like to keep people guessing. It's a good time. Let's see. Arkham Vigilante, thank you for the 10. Very generous. Hey, Luke, replaying through Cyberpunk for the first time, or for like the 4th time. Hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too, my friend. I hope you're having a good one. Glad to have you. Joaquin, thank you for the 37 months. That gets a boom. Boom. You're welcome. I saw a video of the Costco guys the other day. Dude. They don't have the passion anymore. They just don't. I never thought I would say this. I feel like the Costco guys, they're phoning it in. Cancel me. I don't care. Just my opinion. Leo, thank you for the 5. Luke, thinking of moving from, or I can't read. I keep reading things backwards. Am I dyslexic or just stupid? I don't know. Leo, thank you for the 5. Luke, thinking of moving to PC from PlayStation in a few years / next gen. What do you recommend? Pros, cons, how / what to buy? Pre-built, out of the box versus customized. Right now, pre-built / gaming laptops, best value as of today. In a couple of years, that probably has changed again. I'm praying, hopefully. But as of right now, you are not going to beat the price of like a gaming laptop or pre-built. In regular market conditions, I would say build your own. That would be my ideal. But, you know, we live in extraordinary times, don't we? Don't we? So I would just be patient, wait a year or two for things to settle a little bit. OpenAI is already kind of imploding, so just be patient, and we'll see what happens. Okay, just be patient. Be patient. But especially if you're waiting for next gen, be patient. Hopefully by then you can go PC with custom build. There's just a lot of question marks right now because we don't know when next gen is. We don't know what the price point's going to be. It's probably going to be more than you're thinking. And with PC parts, we don't know if there's going to be, a price balancing or anything. So I would say take your time. Laptops are a nightmare to repair. It's true. I will say my gaming laptops, I usually have them for 2 to 3 years before I replace them. And it's not because they break or anything. It's just literally because I do this for a living. So I just upgrade to a newer version or a newer thing to have some more firepower. And I've never had a laptop like need repair. I have a friend who needed like a hinge on the laptop repaired, but like I've never personally had to repair a laptop. But maybe I'm delicate with my electronics. I don't know. Luke, how many hours have you played Crimson Desert? Can't tell you. For the preview event, I did play a bit over 6. I've been saying 6.5 because it's just a round number. It was probably like 6 hours, 20 something. I'm not sure exactly, but somewhere in there. Vintage, thank you for the 5. Why do you think Corey said he left Ragnarok for not wanting to spend 15 years in the same story, only to spend 6 years on a prequel for that said story? I'm not sure. If Corey's in chat, he can explain. I'm not sure. I'd have to see the full quote. I'm not really sure. Metal, thank you for the 10. DSP claimed during his RE9 playthrough that teeth were held in place by the gums, and no zombie should ever have teeth, shattering immersion and zombie fantasy for all of us. Thoughts? Dude, sometimes it's just like actual like toddler levels of understanding, but like even a toddler would know that Halloween decorations even show like skulls with the teeth still in them, so like obviously it's not true. I literally have a skull behind me, okay? Like it's honestly shocking. I remember seeing a clip. Somebody was like, do you think he's just like really, really stupid, or do you think something else is going on? I half suspect that he was in like a really bad car accident and got brain damage but never went to the hospital, because he was valedictorian of his high school and yet he says stuff like that. I cannot fathom being valedictorian of a high school, like the highest GPA student of your whole school, and graduating thinking that. Like I cannot fathom it. So I have suspect that like he got brain damage either from drinking or a car accident or something, and that's what made him that way. It would explain a lot, frankly, but that's just me speculating. Chevy, thank you for the 5. When you're wearing rose tinted glasses, red flags just look like flags. You're damn right. Everyone claps, snaps. Can I get some snaps in chat in agreement to that? When you're wearing rose tinted glasses, red flags just look like flags. You're damn right. They do. That's why it's important to be level-headed, reasonable. Snaps in the chat. Luke, smile slightly on your left side and twitch your right eye slightly, and have your dog bark 3 times if Crimson Desert is going to be GOAT. Even if I were going to do that, I don't think I could. I don't think my face could do that, frankly. So I'm sorry. I'm not capable. Let's see. Jonas, also thank you for the 9 months. Insanity difficulty, no heal, no blood collector, and complete the game in 4 hours. Done. The way for Crimson Desert starts. Keep up the great work, Luke. Dude, that's baller. That's crazy. Insanity difficulty, no heals, no blood collector, and do it in 4 hours. That's wild, bro. That's crazy. That's insane. Mr. Snowborn, thank you for the 10. Do you think Daniel Vavra stepping down from creative director will have an impact on Warhorse's next game or even KCD3? Personally, I don't think so. All of the guys working over at Warhorse, the whole team, all the guys and gals, they are all fantastically talented, and I'm not concerned about it. Daniel Vavra is a very good writer. I love Mafia games and KCD2's writing and KCD1's writing. That's where his bread and butter is, and he's very good at it. And now he's going over to work on a movie. So I think, you know, he wouldn't be leaving his baby if he didn't think he was leaving it in good hands. So I'm not personally worried about it. Yeah, I'm not personally worried about it. And then Tazmeister, thank you for the 10. You posted the same message again. Well, I appreciate the 10. That's very, very generous. And like I said, even if I wanted to smile on my left side, twitch my right eye for 2 seconds and make my dog bark, I don't think I could even do that if I wanted to. It was not destined. It was not destined. Okay, should we talk about this? Okay, let's talk about this. New segment. Just when you thought there weren't going to be new segments, here it is. Can't get away. Let's get it. Once more, the dreaded terror that's known as LinkedIn strikes again, my friends. Somebody was trying to fluff up their LinkedIn profile and made a bit of an oopsie. This is classic, frankly. Classic. It's like a finely aged wine, to be frank, where somebody leaves a company or is working on a new job, applying to stuff, they freshen up their LinkedIn, and because they are in this day in, day out, they think that certain things are known. You know, if you're working under an NDA, but you've been working for like 5 years on a project, that every day you're talking openly about it with your coworkers, it's very normal to you. Sometimes it's easy to forget what is actually public. And that's what happened here. Rebs Gaming grabbed the screenshot for this. A new franchise within God of War universe is being developed by Sony Santa Monica. This is confirmed by former senior writer on LinkedIn, and Jason Schreier hints this is true. And then Nate the Hate corroborated it, which I'll get to in just a second. What did this person say? Well, this person, who I'm not going to share their name for obvious reasons, they posted that they were a senior writer working at Sony Interactive Entertainment full-time for 5 years and 2 months until September of 2025. Helped shape narrative vision and creative direction at Sony Santa Monica for a new franchise within the God of War universe. We didn't know that. That wasn't public. Oops. Developed characters, storylines, original lore that expanded the acclaimed IP, integrated story with gameplay and world building through scripts, narrative content, blah, 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 blah. Contributed to long-term narrative and franchise strategy. Pretty boilerplate. But all of this would be totally fine if we knew about it. We didn't know about it. So I'm sure this was frantically deleted. He got a few phone calls of the lawyers being like, the hell are you doing? Are we a joke to you? It's a bad day, I'm sure. A bad day. But now it's been corroborated by a few other sources. And I'm going to show you some clips that make this look really, really obvious in hindsight, okay? Nate the Hate said, here's what I learned. Yes, the game is set within the God of War universe, and the lead character will be Faye. Gameplay is said to differ from the Norse saga of the God of War games with a more focus on action. Current plan is to reveal it this year and release in the first half of next year, barring any sort of delays, which is roughly in line with the timelines and stuff that were leaked that we kind of knew about. Look at this, though. Morse found this little snippet of a video, which I'm going to show you. This is something he said openly on an IGN podcast, okay? When we watch this back, it's going to seem so stupid obvious, okay? Like, just hear me out. This is Corey's original plan. In 2018, he said he had a prequel planned after Ragnarok that would show how Kratos and Faye met and reveal the story we don't know. People saying they are milking it are objectively wrong. This is the execution of a plan made 10 years ago, which I think is demonstrably true, okay? This is the snippet. Morse, again, did a great job clipping this. For reference, this is the podcast where he says he had a story planned for after Ragnarok storyline, saying it would only make sense to tell after that. In the end, he's asked about a potential game with Faye as a protagonist and says that could be amazing. He knew. Look at this, okay? After this, you're going to feel stupid. Buckle up.
Shut up, Corey. All right.
Obviously, you're saying you have sort of the forward of what comes next. You have that, what that image means in mind. Did you have everything before the game of like how long this is after the last God of War journey we've seen? Like how much older Kratos
how long
is?
is this after the last game?
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Anyway.
We've been pretty specific throughout all of the development of God of War to not commit to a date or any time periods. For me, I wanted an expanse of time from 3 to explore the rock bottom of Kratos, right? So that what happened before this is a really cool story, something that I've sort of laid the beats out for, but something we're not really talking about today. Sure. So that when you kind of see that story as it folds into him arriving in Scandinavia and meeting Faye, all of that is a really awesome story. Mm-hmm. But for me, a lot of people say, why didn't you tell that story? And it's chronologically, it fits beforehand, but it is way more interesting to look back on that when you find out her power and control. If you find out who...
which I think is fair. All of the mystery of God of War 2018 leading into Ragnarok and how all the plot lines connect, none of that really would be that engaging if you knew the answers to everything beforehand, you know? Sometimes the mystery is nice. Frankly, it would be like if you did Star Wars and you did the prequel movies first and then you did episodes 4, 5, and 6. The big episode 5 reveal, you know, of Darth Vader being Luke's father, spoilers, it's almost 50 years old. I don't care. That wouldn't hit as hard, you know, because you would know all of the backstory, all the background. It would all be kind of set up. And I think that it wouldn't be none of the relationship between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, none of those dynamics would hit anywhere near as hard if you knew the background and backstory beforehand. Yeah. Oh no, Luke. So I think this makes perfect sense. Yes, obviously in some stories, the story is more engaging if you explore the mystery or the story with mystery, and then you explore the prequel, tying all of the things together, showing, oh, this is how that happened. This is why this happened. This is why she said this. This is why he said that. I think that makes perfect sense. So this is, you know, very, very reasonable.
Who she is, and you find all that information first, this story doesn't work as well, right? This reveal and this sort of bonding between these two characters. But now, looking back on how he got there, that to me is far more interesting because now you feel like you totally understand everything, but you don't.
Can you make a game where she's the protagonist?
This is now what's being alleged. What she just asked about.
Though?
That axe. Can you say
That could be amazing.
Shut up.
That could be amazing, he said. Anybody who's trying to act like this is some sort of like last minute pivot to satisfy, you know, the cultural zeitgeist. This to me is very clear. Okay? Like, I don't think there's any mystery here. I think this is even a step past coy. This is like, and to be clear, this is supposed to be a spin-off. My understanding is they're not going to call it God of War. It's going to be Fae of War. Yeah. It's going to be named something else. So it's an understanding that this is not the God of War franchise. It is a spin-off from that. It will play differently. It will probably look differently. It's going to be much more of an action heavy game than like the format of the third person adventure, more cinematic thing. I think it's going to be quite different. And I think that's fine. I think that's totally, totally fine. And Corey knows what he's doing. Demonstrably. Okay. So I see this. I'm like, oh, cool. Interesting. And seeing these clips from back in the day, I'm like, oh, yeah. No, I think that lines up. That lines up. I believe this interview is from 2018. This is from the original game before Ragnarok even. So I don't find this to be, you know, even remotely concerning or strange or anything. There's even other snippets like this, which is really funny in hindsight. This is a snippet that Legacy Killa clipped. Cory Barlog was really making it obvious. This is from 2021, and I guess around that time he was beginning early work on the God of War spinoff for the franchise. Look at this. So this is a clip, a tweet from 2021. God of War 2018 director Cory Barlog is all of us. It was Jeff Keighley saying video games evolving and changing. Just 26% of EA revenue came from premium game sales. The rest was from live service, DLC, mobile, and microtransactions. Ubisoft is shifting away from 3 to 4 premium AAA titles a year, plans to launch high-end free-to-play games. We all know how that ended up over the next few years for Ubisoft. And what did Corey reply with? I believe it's Rob Lowe facepalming. But what's the name of his account? I mean, again, anybody who's like, this is totally unforeseeable, dude, I feel like it was pretty obvious. Okay. So I think it's fun. I'm down for it. Again, Corey knows what he's doing. It's funny that this broke because somebody was updating their LinkedIn profile, which is classic. Again, is just classic, but that's just how it works. Frankly, I'm more intrigued by this than if they were to just do like an Atreus spinoff game. I never thought that sounded particularly fantastic. I was like, like it could be good, but like I'm also, I just maybe this is a hot take. Maybe this is a hot take. I personally, I don't love the tiny spin-offs that don't really innovate or add anything. Miles Morales, Lost Legacy, they're fun as like quick little bite-sized experiences, but I think they can often, I don't know, they just land kind of flat. They're not that exciting to me. You know, I'm glad to have more content, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather have, you know, you wait an extra year or two and get something really that breaks my brain, you know. That would be my hope, but I'm spoiled also. I realize not everybody plays everything, and so they don't necessarily have a ton of games to just be like, I'll wait for that. I'm going to go back and play this or that. I get that, but personally, for me, I'm okay that they're not doing like the Atreus spinoff. The Faye game does seem very interesting. I don't know how that works. Hearing that it's more action heavy is interesting. I don't really know what that means. Some people have compared it to like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, saying that it'll play like one of those games. I don't know what that even looks like. I have a hard time imagining it with how God of War Ragnarok in 2018 went, but I'm open-minded about it. And hearing that they are allegedly like pretty far along is exciting. It's exciting. So we'll see that happen, but it just goes to show you never use LinkedIn. Problem solved. It is trash, to be clear. I can't stand LinkedIn. It's like worse Facebook, but for business people that use AI tools to write all of their posts. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's just awful. But anyway, there you go. That's what happened in the last few days with God of War, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. So there you go. There you go. Yeah. It's her axe right. So just like Norse Games. No, to be clear, all of the people that claim to know about it say that it will play very differently, that it will be more action focused. I've seen two different people compare it to Bayonetta. Somebody else compared it to like Devil May Cry. I don't know if that actually is true, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So this also is why like Jason Schreier, when he said that the new Santa Monica Studios game would be a not a new IP, but it might feel like one. This makes sense. If it's a God of War game, but it doesn't feel like God of War. That's, I think, what's happening. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm open-minded to it. I'm open-minded to it. Okay. Okay. So jiggle physics, how dare you? Bayonetta. That word. Dude, can you imagine if they called it that? That's that'd be awesome. Let's see. Yes, the plan is to do a stream tomorrow talking about the preview. I already got it cleared from Will Powers that that's okay, that I can sit on here, show you gameplay snippets, explain my thoughts and stuff. So we should be good to go. So don't worry. Don't worry. I hope you're having a great day, Luke. On what platform do you have Crimson Desert, PC or PS5? How dare you? Mac, of course. No, I don't think I'm allowed to say. So haha, can't tell you. Sucks to suck. Sucks to suck. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Let's tackle this. Let's tackle this. Which one do we want to do first? Which one do we want to do first? Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. It's been 3 days. We've given it some breathing room. Let's check it out. Okay. New segment. It's new. And it's a segment. You heard me. This is Corey's mom. Don't Don't spoil my son's new game, says Leo. Oops. Sorry. Heron says with a 5, sounds like a rough direction. God of War without God of War as the main character. And shifting the combat towards DMC style. Oof. I don't know. I'm just saying, don't judge it till you see it. A lot of people, I remember there being leaks of a potential reboot for God of War circa like 2015, 2016, early 2016. And there were people that were like, dude, going like cinematic third person perspective for God of War sounds like trash. And I think it worked. Controversial opinion, I know. I think it was pretty good. So, it's easy to be like, that's different, therefore it's bad. I would not do that. Okay. I would maintain a healthy level of skepticism, as you should always maintain for everybody and everything. But, level it out. So wait till we see it. Let them see it. Yeah. What if this is like the new Stardew Valley? That is a question. I'd be surprised if it's like that, but yeah. Let them cook. Yeah, I mean, literally let them cook. You literally have not seen the game. You literally have not seen even a trailer. So yeah, getting like freaked out is like a little silly. I'm skeptical of being told to be skeptical. What should I do? You are in the paradox, my friend. The only choice is to eat an entire jar of pickles and go for a jog and try again. That's all you can do. Let me see. Rapport Epilion 2026 numbers suggest that all new games releasing now fight for about 4% of players. Rest is locked in big games. Yeah, well, and I think the danger of some of those calculations and the conclusions that some outlets and publishers draw from them is that they start lumping all of this stuff together, and then they are frustrated that when everything is lumped together, they have this little sliver. So they go, okay, we need to make a game that goes for a bigger sliver. The truth of the matter is that those audiences are different. People playing Call of Duty are never gonna be that interested in your like narrative game. Like they're just not interested in that. They're interested in games like Call of Duty, but they're entrenched and they probably are not leaving. Even if they leave, they usually come back. So even if they leave to play Battlefield for a few months, they end up coming back to Call of Duty. And, it's frustrating for those publishers because they're like, well, what's the suggestion that we missed the boat, that we missed out on that, so we can't ever have our massive live service game? And it's like, probably. Sometimes you get really lucky with like an Arc Raiders with having a really good game. All the marketing beats coincide and work really well. Streamers love it, which helps a lot. You get a Burnt Peanut, which helps it blow up and go viral many times over. All of these stars have to align for that to work. But that's a very, very rare situation. 99% of the time, you launch a live service game, it's dead within a month or two. That's just how it works. It's too bad, but that's how it works. That's the nature of the beast. Yeah. Let's see. Crimson on PC Master Race says GIB honey for with a $2 super chat. I mean, always PC Master Race. PC is always the way to go. I'll tell you what. Young Rue, thank you also for 34 months. That's crazy. At the show off tier as well. Pogs right there. Really enjoying RE9. Jumped out of my chair a couple times and had a lot of fun. Not finished yet though. You'll get there, my friend. You'll get there. Yeah, people have been having a really good time with it. I'm really glad to hear it. Like that one maniac in chat earlier who said that they got through it on, where was it? Jonas A. Larson. Insanity difficulty, no heal, no blood collector, complete the game in 4 hours. That's silly. That's ridiculous, okay? That's crazy. I admire your dedication. That's wild. Okay, let's look at this. New segment. It's new and it's a segment. I was supposed to start it 10 minutes ago, then I got distracted. Stop sending me money. I don't have the attention span for it. There you go. Okay. Digital Foundry, my friends. Digital Foundry. They've gotten exclusive access to Crimson Desert. Once more. Once more they did. Fact check true. It's true. They got it and they talked about it. And we're here to check it out. What did they find out?
Crimson Desert, one of the most promising games on the horizon, a game we've had our eyes on for quite some time. It's pushing some very impressive tech. And recently, we had a chance to look at some cool stuff. Specifically, Alex had a chance to look at some cool stuff, and he shared some of it with me here today. And we wanted to do a little preview on this game because, my goodness, this is some beautiful stuff. So, Alex.
Yeah, John, this is
Real quick. I gotta hand it to Pearl Abyss, okay? Most games, it's easy to forget this, okay? But most games do not give outlets like Digital Foundry preview access to showcase the game's graphics and stuff before launch. You only typically see that with like the big boys that are really confident and really proud and have reason to show it off, right? Most games, the vast majority of games, will send them like a review code with a review embargo saying, yeah, when reviews go up, you can post your tech review. That's that. But they're actually going outside of their way to go to Digital Foundry specifically and try to hook them up with access, which is not that common. I mean, that's just not that common. There's a few big examples you can point to, but it's just not. Again, you usually see it for like the big boys. You'll see Capcom do it if they're really proud of like Resident Evil 9's visuals. You'll see them do it with like a monster behemoth. Like, I don't think even Nintendo does that now that I think about it. But you'll see it with like maybe Ghost of Yotei. I don't know if they did it there, but you'll see Sony do it sometimes. But even then, it's like rare that they go this early with access. But they did.
a very fantastic looking game here, and I'm excited to talk to you about
A
it.
very fantastic looking game.
Looking to get your hands on a free Resident Evil Requiem PC game code?
Yes,
Well,
tell me how.
MSI has the promotion for you. Purchase a select MSI gaming monitor or desktop PC, write a review on an eligible retail platform, register your product with MSI, submit your details, and the game code is yours up until the end of March or while stocks last.
That's genuinely kind of a cool promotion. I mean, that's just kind of cool. You get a free game by reviewing it and then connecting your info. That is kind of cool. MSI, call me.
Check out the video description below for eligible hardware, terms and conditions, and to
Yeah,
learn
I can turn them
more.
up. Got you, baby. I got you, baby. Ah, damn it. The browser keeps doing this. Hold on. Let me boosting volume, enhance, enhanced. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So again, it is not that common for them to do this, to reach out, and already at the outset they are quite positive. Let's see what they have to say.
Well, like, we don't normally do previews in this way, but I think this was a special circumstance, right?
Yeah, basically, I was invited to a preview event to do our own coverage and capture for this game that would have been held in Amsterdam, right about the time we're recording this right now. But as I talked about in DF Direct most recently, I do have a health issue with my back, so I'm trying not to move and do arduous adventures like that at the moment.
Fair.
And they, the Pearl Abyss, the publisher and developer of this game, were kind enough to provide us with footage that we could have made at that preview event. And they did.
Like, again, they're like, you have a back injury, let us record it for you, send you all the stuff. Like, that's baller, dude. Again, they didn't have to. A lot of companies are just like, okay, well, sucks to suck. You don't get to come. You don't get to, okay. Too bad. But like, no, they're actually going out of their way to record the footage for them, which is very, very nice.
Did it in a very special way. I basically asked them, hey, you know, when we go to a preview event, we don't just randomly do gameplay of games. We're big nerds, and we like to do like slow moving camera shots with the controller, like perfectly locked 60 FPS, basically looking at all the gameplay, not really, but more so the graphical techniques. And they answered the call, and they did a lot of really amazing footage for us to make this preview video in a style that DF would do. So thank you to the game. And they did it in a cool way where they gave us the exact specs and the system settings that the game is running at. The game.
Okay, Kino, that's freaking funny. They had his back. Dude. That's good. That's good. Top comment so far.
Was running at, for this preview video footage you're seeing on screen right now, it was running on a AMD Ryzen 9 7900X 3D 12-core processor, a Radeon RX 7900 XTX, so the last gen top-end GPU from AMD, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and we did it with VSync on and FSR native. So this is 4K footage running.
Oh, baby. Okay, 4K native. Upscaling is just being used for anti-aliasing. Again, I cannot tell you how frequently we've seen in the last few years studios that at preview events and even like for reviews and like recommended specs have upscalers included in that, where they say, this is our recommended spec using DLSS at balanced mode and doing this, which means it's internally rendering down at like 1080p or whatever, upscaling all the way. Like they have it built into the specs of what they're targeting the upscalers. They're not doing that here. And this actually completely jives with what we found out when we had the one and only Will Powers on our stream. Let me see. I'm gonna have to search for it. Here we go with Will Powers. This is a month ago. Okay, let me pull up the transcript. Upscaling. Let's see. This one is a question from Lance. He's asking, can you speak at all about the upscaling options that will be available in the game at launch?
Yeah.
This is the wrong
so we have great partners. I was just at CES, and I was a partner showcase in the AMD booth. So we're one of the very, very few games that's an FSR Redstone partner at launch. So we were taking, that was originally FSR 5 or 4 that they renamed to Redstone in order to have for branding purposes. But there's rate regeneration. There's all sorts of technologies within FSR that we'll be taking full advantage of that you can turn on or off, as well as our friends over at NVIDIA, we have full DLSS support, or you can just turn everything off if you have the hardware to be able to to run at 4K.
To brute force it,
yeah, basically brute forcing 4K. I will say this. I don't think I've said this officially. We're not frame capping. So there is no hard cap of we're doing frame limiting at 60 or something like that. If your system can support it, cool. Go ahead.
Which is important. The specific one I was wondering here, there's a point where he says it was specifically about native. Here, right here. The game is being optimized like natively, or is it being optimized with upscalers in mind?
Natively first and foremost.
Okay.
And then on top of that, because we're working directly with those partners to be able to do that. But those are being done in parallel, not priority of upscalers over native. Because if it doesn't work natively, then that's the foundation of the house. That you need a strong foundation for the upscalers to be able to build on top of.
Which is absolutely true. We've seen games where that was not the methodology and they did not work too good. Because the upscalers, like, all they're doing is lowering the render resolution so that you can, in theory, get better frame rates. The problem is, if your game, even when lowering the resolution, if it's still struggling to hit decent frame rates because it's not optimized around the CPU or memory pulls and loading stuff, if it's not optimized elsewhere, lowering the render resolution doesn't magically fix anything. It might help a little bit, but if your game is, like, even when lowering the resolution down to like 800p, if it's still only hitting like 20 frames because it's so poorly optimized, all of the DLSS upscaling and everything is just going to lead to it being a stuttery mess. It's going to have tons of input lag. It's going to feel really bad to play. And it also won't look very good because it's going to be upscaled from 800p or even lower. We've seen instances of upscaling from like 540p even on big AAA games. So it's not like you cannot just turn on an upscaler and expect it to magically work. Upscalers work particularly well when you have a strong foundation, like Will mentioned, and maybe you're hitting like 60 FPS or something. And when you upscale from there, it then is able to achieve like 90 frames. And because the base frame rate is still so good, you can actually avoid a lot of the latency issues and input delay issues that plague games that are not optimized for native rendering. So this is exactly what I would hope to hear. It's exactly what they should be saying, and it should be the standard, in my opinion, for AAA game development for everything. And the best example of this working was KCD2. It's the last time I can think of a big AAA game that very openly said we are optimizing for native rendering, and upscalers will just add to performance. But the game should be able to perform well even without using any of them. Snaps in agreement. Like, it's exactly what you would want to hear. So seeing that for this testing that Digital Foundry did, that they were rendering it at 4K natively and only using FSR for anti-aliasing, that's exactly what you would hope to hear. It's exactly what you would hope to hear. The below settings are the default settings for the Ultra preset. They say everything's on Ultra, ray tracing's on, lighting quality is high, blah, 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 running through all of this, and particle effects quality is at 100. I'll mention this again, even though I've mentioned it before. I just want to be clear because some people might not know. One of the common complaints in some of the early footage was that particle effects were crazy high. They actually listened to that feedback, added in a slider so that you can turn that down wherever you want it, even completely off. And Will on our stream mentioned that he thinks that should be present on console, but he couldn't confirm it 100%. But the point is, if you don't like all the particle effects, you can literally turn it down to 10% or 50% or off completely. They actually built that in.
Running at native 4K, and the game has presets going from minimum all the way up to cinematic with like low, medium, high, ultra in between them. And this was running on ultra. And so
there's a setting above this called cinematic, he said, that's even above this. So there's a setting even higher than what you're seeing.
Not the highest settings you can run at, but it's still, 4K native on technically what is a last gen GPU. And it looks like this, and it runs like this, mainly at 60. Some scenes are a little bit lower, but this is obviously work in progress build at ultra high settings at native 4K, but it's running pretty darn well. Definitely running quite differently than a lot of Unreal Engine games would run at native 4K, I'd say.
That is a nice way of putting it. Running quite differently. Quite differently. I'm going to be real. I cannot think, just based on even on this frame, you're telling me this is rendering native 4K on a last gen GPU on ultra settings, and it looks like this, and it's running on a last gen GPU at like 60 frames. That's crazy. Pretty much this whole gen, we don't see AAA stuff launching around like native rendering. It's very impressive.
For sure. And man, while you're laying this out, I'm just looking at the footage here and just the visual quality, man. Like sometimes when you see just the right visuals, you almost like get a similar feeling to exploring a place in real life.
Yes.
Like you feel like an emotion just seeing the scenery. And there's something about the color use and the way everything moves and just behaves that makes this feel just sublime. And I'm super interested to check it out because this is actually a very
even this shot is just kind of wild, because I remember seeing a comment from somebody. They're like, I don't think I've seen a game, an open world game quite like this, that's, doesn't have like a very specific art style, like a Breath of the Wild or something. And it's for a good reason. Most games do not try to develop around sweeping vistas like this for good reason, because it's hard. It's hard to render all of this stuff. It's why you'll play a game like even The Witcher 3 to a certain extent, and you don't typically have massive lines of sight in most areas of the map. You'll occasionally get it if you go like south of the, I think it's south of the swamp where the bogs are. I think that there's a way you can get up pretty high and you can see a pretty big vista. Of course, Kaer Morhen you can see pretty far, but that's also very specifically set up in that way. It's not like you can just freely explore there in that area. But the point is, it's not something that you typically see because it's hard to do. It's hard to render all of these details, especially when you're like, yeah, all of this stuff you're seeing, you can go there. You can go down to this castle and explore each of these buildings. You can go to this tower and see what's over there. There's a fort over here. You can barely make it out. There seems to be maybe a village up here with some buildings that you can sort of make out. As we go over here, you can see that there's also this mountain peak. There's other structures up there that you can probably go explore. There's some sort of tower right there you can see. There's this one that you can see. Their whole goal is to start to pique your interest with all of these little bitty things scattered around the map. And again, to hear that they're able to hit these at solid frame rates, not on a 5090, you just don't see that very often.
Very big single player open world game, right?
Yeah, it's kind of an RPG, open world, systemic design, I would say, based upon everything I've seen so far and what I played a little bit at the Consumer Electronics Show. Time of day, all the time, sun going up and down, varying cloud weather and varying weather, varying locations and biome types, a lot of outdoor locations too, because it's kind of got this medieval magic aesthetic, but also there's cities and towns with a lot of indoor areas. It does remind me a bit of Dragon's Dogma 2 in terms of just the world design, but I think this is maybe
hopefully in all the good ways and not the bad ways, because Dragon's Dogma 2, if you'll remember, ran like hot donkey ass when you entered cities specifically. It was crazy because if this was in Dragon's Dogma 2, it was literally you're walking around over here at like 70 frames. You step through the threshold where it starts simulating NPCs and just nosedive. I mean, it was like bad. This just in, High Guard shut down on the 12th. Really? Breaking news right there. That's crazy. We'll get to it in just a second. Jacob, are you in here ready to clip for when we talk about it? Let me know. We could pivot and see that real quick. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 notably, thank you for letting me know, by the way, Shiro, thank you. Dragon's Dogma 2 notably, the moment you entered cities, performance tanked and nosedived. But what I will say, I still liked Dragon's Dogma 2. I understand a lot of people were disappointed by it. It was a game that really did not hold your hand and was not apologetic about it at all. But I really liked what they did. It was far from perfect, but I had a good time with it. It's just the performance sucked donkey ass. It was really too bad. But anyway. So yeah, the comparisons to Dragon's Dogma, I've heard other people bring up as well. And I, hopefully it's just the good parts, not the bad parts.
Even a little bit larger in scope. Like I said, the game does focus a lot on systemic aspects, which does give me Breath of the Wild feels, and is powered by an engine that is unique to Pearl Abyss called the Black Space Engine, which is a pretty brutal name.
I love that name, actually, and I love, of course, seeing an in-house engine like this. Honestly, looking at this footage and thinking about how things usually go for us, I would not be surprised to see our Game of the Year thing come out to Crimson Desert versus Resident Evil Requiem, and then you end up arguing.
Dude, he's already talking about it being in the running for their Game of the Year discussions based on their preview, which is impressive. It's also, the rain looks crazy good.
And come out to Crimson Desert.
And night actually looks like night. What is this? It's crazy. It looks very good. I can see why they're so excited by it. I can see. Do you see? I can see. Hold on. Okay, let me talk about this real quick. Let's just real quick. Before we get too far into this, I just want to talk about it. Here it is. Okay. We'll pivot back to that. We'll finish that out, but I just want to talk about it real quick. Breaking news. Breaking news. It's happened, fam. It's happened. The update that wasn't particularly surprising, but has nonetheless hit today. Highguard just posted an official statement, quote, Highguard's final update arriving soon. Thank you for playing with us. Today, we're sharing difficult news. We have made the decision to permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players stepped into Highguard's world. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we were building. For that, we are deeply grateful. Despite the passion and hard work of our team, we have not been able to build a sustainable player base to support the game long term. Servers will remain online until March 12th. March 12th. We hope you'll jump in with us one more time to show your support and get those final great matches in while we still can. The team is excited to release one final game update to enjoy in the remaining life of the game. We'll be adding a new warden, a new weapon, account level progression, and skill trees. Full patch notes are coming, and we're targeting tonight or tomorrow morning for patch and release. From all of us at Wildlight, thank you for playing and supporting us, and for being part of Highguard's story. No mention of refunds for people who bought cosmetics for a game that will cease to exist in 9 days. But yeah, they're shutting down. And honestly, again, this isn't surprising at all. I think you guys said now this count is like 45 days will be the total life, I think. Alexa, how many days are between January 26th and March 12th? Alexa, thank you. 45. Alexa, stop. Sorry, anybody who has an Alexa at home. Stop. And honestly, this isn't that surprising because as we've seen, the trail off has been pretty clear. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. And especially once they announced layoffs and it started to just plummet even farther. Nobody wants to get in and get addicted to and committed to a game they know is probably going to be dead in a matter of weeks, which is what happened. That's what happened here. Nobody's going to get committed to it. They have 236 players in game right now, which is still like more than I would have thought, considering the writing's been on the wall for a while. But the fascinating sort of dissonant discussion around Highguard for me has just been the fact that, as they just acknowledged, they've had over 2 million players step in. 2 million players tried Highguard. Nobody can argue people didn't give it a chance. They did. 2 million of them. Can you even imagine how much a studio would just kill for the opportunity to have 2 million players come and try their game? The problem is the game just wasn't very good, and it wasn't good enough to keep them. Demonstrably. If the game was good, this number would not have cratered so bad. But it just continued to plummet because it wasn't good enough to hold them. And as they got funding pulled by Tencent, everybody knew the sync was shipping, so they started to bail. And now you end up with where you are now. I think it's a tale of, as one of the developers mentioned to Jason Schreier, a tale of hubris for sure, where they didn't want to listen to the critical feedback and be like completely real. They kept comparing themselves over and over and over again to Apex Legends, saying they wanted to launch it the same way Apex did. If they hadn't had the Game Awards reveal, they would have shadow dropped it, which I think would have been an even more disastrous thing. They wouldn't have peaked at 97K on Steam. They probably would have peaked down at like 12,000, maybe lower, maybe like 3,000. I don't think it would have gotten anywhere close to this peak if they shadow dropped it, because they're not Respawn. They're just not. It's not how that works. It's not 2019 anymore, I think is when it launched. It's just not. Okay? It's a different universe now. There's way more competition, and there is a real eye roll that happens with most gamers when they hear about another new live service game. Another one. Here we go. Especially when you try to sell it as the second coming, as a new breed of shooter, when clearly most players disagreed. Or if they agreed, they didn't think it was a breed that should continue to exist. And they voted with their time. It's a free-to-play game. They voted with their time and they just uninstalled it. They moved on. That's the problem. Just like Sean Layden said in his interview with Kiwi Talks, which you should absolutely look up. Kiwi Talks, Sean Layden. Very interesting talk. But Sean Layden, notably said how many live service games can there be? The answer is obviously not 20. The answer is obviously that your game has to be so good that it's not just good enough to engage players. It has to be so good that it pulls them away from a game like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, Call of Duty, Arc Raiders, Marathon, whatever. It has to pull players away from those and bring them into their fold and keep them there indefinitely. That is a very, 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 very difficult thing to do. Very expensive and time-consuming thing to do. And if you don't hit it out of the park from the outset and retain those players, the big guys like Tencent will just pull funding. They knew probably on Wednesday, the 28th, as the player numbers continue to plummet, Tencent probably was already like, oh, well, pull the funding. Because for them, they're just like, they can see the writing on the wall, as everybody could. This chart doesn't look good. This, I believe, is when they added 5v5, which was way better. But the next day, it dropped even more, and it just continued to plummet and fall off. But this is just what happens when you are kind of in your bubble and you don't open it up to outside feedback. Because again, the fact that everybody unanimously had the same reaction, which was, how is this a new breed of shooter? Like, what am I missing? The fact that everybody reacted that same way, I think, is just proof positive that this was avoidable if they opened it up to feedback. The danger with all this, and this is, I guess, what I'll leave it out or close it out with, is just that it is... Studios may open up to feedback. The problem is, for some studios, some feedback is not easily actionable. My point has been there's certain concepts that just will not work. I don't think there was a universe in which Highguard ends up with 100,000 players. Because as a game, it's just not interesting. You know, I think it just doesn't work. I don't think it needed more, like, I don't think more polish would have magically fixed it. I don't think more skins in the shop would have fixed it. I don't think more, clearly 5v5 didn't fix it. At launch, maybe it would have helped a little bit, but I just think as a concept, it's not gonna dethrone an Overwatch, which has a decade plus of community building, of entrenchment, where players have spent tons of time getting to know the characters, the maps, all of this stuff. It's just not going to do that. Times have changed. It's just not. And so if they were opening it to feedback, and let's say hypothetically, they opened it up, they brought people like me, and I'm sure like a lot of you, in, and they showed you Highguard a year ago, you probably would have looked at it and been like, I think this thing is DOA. I don't think this thing lasts more than 2 months. You would have been demonstrably correct after the fact. You would have been right, but they can't. What are they supposed to do? Cancel the game? Can't really do that. You know, like, they're kind of in too deep. So they just decide to go, we'll try it anyways. And that's why you end up with Highguards. That's why you end up with King of Meats. Highguard was bad. There's a reason I gave the King of Meat the Concord Award to King of Meat, because King of Meat was like Amazon's $100 million game, and they peaked all time at 320 players. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's not good. It's not good. I have a King of Meat hat. I think it's upstairs. That I got at Summer Games Fest. Like, this was really bad. But this is also a similar thing where it's like they can open it up to feedback, but if the feedback is like this, it's not going to work. What are you going to do?
The Distinguished Dragon donated $20 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed playing Marathon. I fell off of Arc after level 15 after launch. Marathon scratches that itch that Arc couldn't. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm going to enjoy it even if it isn't the cool
game to play. Well, I'm glad you are, my friend, and I'm glad that you are enjoying it. And I absolutely agree. Often comparison can be the thief of joy. I think right now we are in a very particular era of the games industry where a lot of the gaming community specifically views games like King of Meat, like even Marathon, like Concord, like Highguard. They view them as existing to spite something they actually want. Marathon exists to spite Destiny players because now that's going to be their focus. They don't get Destiny 3 because of Marathon. So they have this contempt, this bitterness over the game from the start. It's the same reason that people feel this bitterness over like these live service spin-offs, hearing that Bluepoint was making a God of War live service game. It's like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? And so they have this contempt for that game, hoping it fails to teach the company a lesson not to do that again and to give them what they actually wanted. And that creates a bit of a problem because, you know, the only way to get new exciting things is for a company to experiment. I think that's at least the defense is, well, if we never try anything new, you'll never get anything new or exciting. You'll never get those big wow moments and surprise hits. We have to experiment. My point is that the experiments that they're running all seem to be chasing live service money that's just games designed to milk you dry. You know, Horizon Hunter's Gathering exists to spite those who wanted Horizon 3 just right away. They don't get that game because they're making this live service thing. And you're really going to tell me that that's what the studio really thought was the best thing for their fan base? I have it on good authority from multiple people that have been involved with Hunter's Gathering, that even people within Guerrilla Games are like not that thrilled about making the game. They're not they're not that impressed by it. Okay? Like even the people in the studio are like and so like, but I think everybody kind of feels the same way. This is coming primarily from the big guys upstairs that sign the checks that say, yeah, Highguard probably is going to die, but if it's successful, it'll pay for 5 other attempts that we had. So we'll give it a shot. It's literally gambling. It's literally gambling on the corpo level. The problem is it's just been loss after loss after loss after loss for years, whether you look at a Highguard or King of Meat or all these other games that have burned through hundreds of millions of dollars from publishers, from venture capital groups. Because in case you're not aware, basically a studio will come together. They'll come up with a pitch saying, hey, we used to work at Respawn. Hey, we used to work at Activision on Call of Duty. Hey, we used to work at these big studios that make tons of money. We want to make a new live service game, and we're offering you a 20% stake in the company if you bankroll development for the next year. And then they'll get venture capital to get people like Tencent to come in, give them money to work on the game, get it far along, and they'll get some more money, maybe for some more equity and publishing rights and all this stuff. And then they launch it. And as we saw with Highguard, if it doesn't go well, they pull funding, the studio shuts down and implodes, which is what happened with Highguard. Right about here, somewhere in here, they pulled funding, Tencent did, and it was just game's over at that point when you don't have money. It doesn't work. But what's happening across the industry, and this is well documented at this point, it's been discussed with Christopher Dring on his podcast. It's well known. Venture capital completely dried up. Most of these like exploratory publishers, they're not doing anything. They're not throwing money at any little studios, at no startups, because it's not, they don't think it's worth the risk anymore. 6, 7, 8 years ago, yeah, sure, throw a company 10 million, see what they can do. Maybe they'll get a live service game to pop off and make their money back. Nowadays, the odds of success have plummeted. Even with something like Highguard. Let's look at it just on paper. I know I said 6, 7, 8. I knew it. I knew it the second I said it. Even if you look at Highguard, like let's really just break it out as plainly as you can, okay? As plainly and clearly as we can. Let's go big font. Big font. Okay. Number 1, they had the Game Awards behind them. How many studios would kill to have the Game Awards? They had 2 million players. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Okay? How many studios would kill to have that? 2 million players. They had Tencent money. Millions and millions and millions of dollars accessible. They had talent from Respawn. Amazingly talented devs. They had industry connections. And they even had some like, is it sycophantic? Is that how it's spelled? Press/media that was playing, they were playing defense for them. They had all these things going for them. All these things going for them. and they still died within 45 days. If they can't pull it off, man, what are we doing? That's why all of these outlets, that's why all these publishers are pulling the money out and not messing with it. The industry has changed. It's not 2016 anymore. Even then, it was really tough to get a live service game to pop off. It was really tough. Nowadays, it's nigh impossible. You have to be so freaking lucky and have such a freaking good game and such an amazingly great studio. You have to be Embark. You have to have a game that has virality and viral potential, cinematic moments like a Helldivers or an Arc Raiders. You have to have all these things lining up perfectly to stand a chance. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That's why all of the Tencent money has gotten pulled out. That's why all the other guys are pulling money as well, because it's just not worth the risk for them. This just doesn't make sense anymore. So I think you're going to see a lot of these live service games. They'll trickle out over the next year or two, especially the COVID funding ones, because they were able to borrow money basically for free. So you'll continue to see some of them, but I think you're going to see it dry up real fast. I think next gen is going to be a reset. I used to be very, very bearish towards next gen. I was like, they're just going to do the live service thing. It's going to be a nightmare. I think that this has been enough of a wake up call. Enough billions have been burned that finally I think you're going to see an adjustment and a correction. Very visible failures like Highguard do send a pretty clear message that even if you have all of those things going for it, even if you have the machine that is the Game Awards and all the free promotion from the sycophantic press and media, and you have all of the millions of Tencent dollars, and you have all of this stuff going for you, if you still fail catastrophically, it's not worth the risk. It's just not worth the risk. It's why people have asked, Great Gaming Reset 2026. People asked, I remember last year, they're like, do you think we're in the middle of a gaming crash? I said, no, not a gaming crash. We are in the middle of a live service gaming crash. Okay, it's a subset of the games industry, but yes, the idea that you can make a live service game pouring $200 million into it and it will automatically be successful, that's clearly not true. That clearly doesn't work anymore. And I think we're seeing the results of it now. Where companies still think that they can just throw money at stuff to make it work, and it doesn't work that way anymore. Like, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't know, Luke. Execs don't seem to have any sort of learning curve sometimes. That's fair. The executives might not. That's true. But what they do have a sense for is money. And at some point, the money people they tend to step in and go, what the hell are we doing? Why are we doing this? What are we doing? And that's why I think you'll see change, especially for next gen when leadership tends to roll over. Usually you see leaders in gaming specifically last for like 6-7 years or so through a generation, and then they move on. But yeah, I think you will see an adjustment. Yeah, lastly, the last thing to touch on, I guess, is what a message. The last thing I'll say is that, naturally a lot of the blame and discourse is going to go to Jeff. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think Jeff helped Highguard a lot more than he hurt it. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, it only got the negativity because of Jeff. No, the Game Awards placement certainly framed it in a way that made it sound like it was going to be bigger and better than it was. But I think if Jeff didn't promote it the way that he did, this number would have been 3,000, maybe all-time peak. I think it would have been much closer to a King of Meat situation, because I just don't think anybody would have cared. It's like that one story where, like, I think Jeff said at the Game Awards introducing it, he's like, somehow it hasn't leaked after all these years. Turns out it didn't leak because nobody gave a crap. Like, nobody cared. That's why. If they were working on a Titanfall 3 spiritual successor, yeah, it would have leaked. Guarantee you. But I think that's where it's going to pivot and shift towards is you're going to start to see games like spiritual successor, spin-off, single-player games. They're going to start to actually stand a chance. and probably be greenlit specifically because they're seen as safer bets. But the point for us as the customer base is if you want more of those like single player games, if you want more of those startup studios to make the first game that leads into the sequel that's a masterpiece, you got to support it. Like if you see an indie studio that made a game, maybe it's not a 10 out of 10, you know, if it's maybe a C minus, it's a strong foundation, support it. Giving them the access to make that sequel that ends up being the masterpiece. KCD 1 is a great example of a game that when it launched was really clunky, really rough, but people showed up and supported it. And that allowed them to fix it up, polish it up, and go to KCD 2, which is a masterpiece in my view. But they wouldn't have gotten the access to do that if people hadn't shown up and supported it at first. The Witcher 1 is like a laughably clunky, often very rough game, we'll say. But the Witcher 1 did well enough that they could make The Witcher 2, which was really solid, had plenty of areas of improvement that they could look to. And then The Witcher 3 came and was a masterpiece. And so you got to support the small studios when they come, specifically when they come with these single player games that have potential. You got to support them. That's the big thing. That's a big thing. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Highguard is shutting down. It lived for 45 days. It did outlive Concord. It did indeed. But it was close behind. It was close behind. Witcher 1. My favorite statement was from Neon Knight, who forgive me if I get this quote wrong, but what he said was to me one time, I think when we were in Prague, he said, The Witcher 1 is one of my favorite video games of all time, but it is objectively one of the worst games ever made. It's because he loves the story and the world building and everything of The Witcher 1. And for him, that's top priority. So he's like, I love The Witcher 1. It's objectively a terrible video game, but I love it. Just love it. Anyway. So there you go. Highguard's dead. There you go. That's that. There you go. Let's see. King Cole, thank you for the 10. It seems like all these big legacy companies don't want my hard-earned money. Guess I will spend it on smaller solo dev indie games with more lore than $100 million franchises. Yeah, as you should. The ultimate way, like people sometimes forget it, and it's kind of like frustrating. The power dynamic is very clear. The company is selling you a product. If you don't like the product, don't buy it. Even if it's free to play, they're trying to, like, you have to give your time, and they're going to sell you stuff too. They're going to sell you cosmetics and battle passes and stuff. But ultimately, you have the power collectively to make change. It's the same thing. Like I remember talking 5-6 years ago about Ubisoft doing all this crazy NFT stuff in the lead up to like 2021 when NFTs became like a massive thing. And we were just begging people, don't buy it. Don't buy the monkey face picture. Like, let's not, okay? Don't incentivize this. Don't give money. Stop it. Just don't. And people didn't. And it killed off NFTs completely. They're gone now. Thank goodness. But that's why you have to vote with your wallet. Same thing. If you don't like the really lazy, corporate designed open world adventure games, don't buy them. If you don't like the cinematic third-person adventure games, okay, don't buy them. Like, it's not that complicated. Just don't spend money. And collectively, the industry will kind of lead itself through the trends of what people like and what they want to support. It tends to work itself out. Okay. Let's go back to this real quick. Circling back to Crimson Desert real quick. My biggest issue with Crimson Desert is Cliff, says Olive and Trees. I will need to know more. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Just that he's like kind of a dry protagonist. That's probably fair. I can see that. Yeah. Buttery Cheeks, thank you for the 5. Luke, if both Marathon and Horizon Hunters underperform, do you think Sony will finally cool it with live service? I've heard rumblings that they're already cooling it like a lot. It's part of the reason that they have like shut down some studios and why they have canceled a bunch of projects and restructured a lot of stuff. They'll still say publicly that they're committed to their live service ambitions, but not in the same way that they have been They are not going to be spending another $4 billion on an acquisition. They're not going to be greenlighting another $200 million Concord thing. They're reevaluating things. And that jives with other things people have heard where it's like, it's sounding like they're reevaluating their PC strategy as well. Maybe they'll stop bringing stuff to PC, and they'll start to lean back into console exclusives and only bring live service stuff to PC as well. I think they're evaluating all of this stuff at the same time. So it's not that simple. So yeah, I think PlayStation's reevaluating a lot. Xbox is reevaluating a lot, which is what's good. It's good for companies to reevaluate when things aren't working and go, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? When is the embargo lift? Tomorrow. I don't remember the hour. I'm sorry, but I don't remember the hour that the embargo lifts. As for the review embargo, that lifts on the 18th at 3 p.m. Pacific. I remember that one. But the preview embargo, I don't remember the hour, but it's tomorrow at some point. So buckle up. Buckle up, buckaroo. It's going to be a big one, too. Jacob, if you're still in chat, do you know how long it ended up being? I haven't checked. I still have to review it. But it's a meaty boy. Jacob will put in chat how long it is. It's long. Real long. 6 to 7 hours. How dare you? Okay, let's continue.
Versus Resident Evil Requiem, and then you end up arguing that this should win, and
because
then
I like
wins.
systemic design.
Like, let's find out. Like, maybe that's won't happen, but I feel like based on our previous histories, like there's a good chance that something like that might happen.
Yeah, this is kind of a game that's right up DF's alley because it does a lot of special stuff. And I do think the developers, this game will be releasing simultaneously on console, and we'll be having coverage of a PC review. We're going to have an interview with the tech developers behind the game that will go up on the website, hopefully by the PC review date. And, we're going to be covering this game because it is probably one of the biggest PC releases this year that, at least the ones that have, firm release dates at the moment. Obviously, these things can change. Who knows what this industry does? But like I said, it's a very PC-like game due to that kind of structure as well as the technological design behind the game. And there's a lot of really cool things that it's doing. So as I mentioned earlier, open world systemic. And a big part of that is the changing time of day. And we have confirmation from Prolibis here, actually, that the game does use ray-traced diffuse GI. And you can see that pretty much in every single scene in the game, whether that be outdoor or indoors. And it does appear to be a per pixel effect. So it doesn't seem to be based upon like only probes like we've seen in other games, which is a way to, save on performance. This game does target per pixel. Although I would say for this footage, since it isn't the ultimate highest settings of the game as, perhaps it can be even higher quality than we're seeing here. But one thing you'll notice is that like if you're in an indoor area, like this almost church looking area, when the sunlight streams into there or even just the sky lighting, it bounces around the room, giving nooks and crannies a darkness to them. And any of the areas where the sunlight is adjacent to them, it's all brightened up. And
this is one of those, I think this is one element to be like aware of. You'll see, this is also something I saw in Resident Evil Requiem as well. A lot of games that are doing ray trace lighting now, global illumination stuff, you'll start to see that in the center of the screen where your eyes typically are, looks really, really solid. It's along the edges where you'll start to see some stranger behaviors as the rays start to be calculated and reconstructed, if you have that turned on, where you'll start to see this kind of like, you can see it like on the very edge, it's not illuminated quite yet, and then it fills in and balances. It's a very common thing you'll start to see, and you see it all over the place. In like RE Requiem, it has it too, in certain areas. So like it's one of those things in footage like this where you can see it if you're looking for it. But you got to remember, when you're playing a video game, your eyes are not, they shouldn't be, on the edges. They tend to be in the center. It's something that I try to be cognizant of, because when I watch these types of videos, I see this stuff, it stands out to me, I pick up on it, but it's one of those things when you're playing the game, you don't notice, which is why they balance it by focusing all the effort rendering in here, and then these little artifacts and things show up on the outsides. But when you're actually playing the game, you're not going to notice it. And so I don't want to like be like, oh look, I spotted something, because it's just not gonna affect you at all when you're playing the game, you know?
Them, it's all brightened up, and they provided some.
Then you're playing the game wrong. Do you play it like one of those CSGO pros? You've seen where they pull the monitor straight up to their face for like quick reaction times or whatever. They just use their peripheral vision. Do you just turn the monitor sideways so you're just looking one eye at the one edge of it? It's like, what are you doing? I'm playing a game, Mom. Leave me alone.
Very cool time of day lapse footage here.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Yeah, of these indoor areas where you can see basically how dramatic the outside weather conditions affect the lighting of an indoor area, which makes sense for like these medieval structures. And then as nighttime rolls around, you can see that GI contribution, that diffuse contribution, also applies to local things like torches, sconces, and whatnot, which isn't a given because some games have only had like GI, coming from the sun or the moon, but here it does apply apparently to all lights, and it's pretty great looking. It reminds me a lot visually of the stuff that we saw in the massive Snowdrop engine games, the most recent ones like Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and Star Wars Outlaws. It really does give me that look.
Yeah.
It looks really great. And one of my favorite parts of it, though, is that, and now this is also an artistic thing as well as a tech thing, but when you get to nighttime, the game actually is super dark.
It's dark.
It's a pet peeve of mine in games.
Dude, the rain does look crazy good. That looks crazy good.
Makes sense with the Dragon's Dogma reference earlier then, right? Because yeah, that was one thing that always did well. Cool. All right, so we have ray traced diffuse GI. What other ray tracing do we have?
Well, it appears the game does use ray traced reflections. I saw that at the CES preview that I had there at the AMD booth, as well as here in the footage that they've kindly provided. They have a number of shots. One, any of the water you see in the game, the standing water, pretty obvious RT reflection contribution there. It seems to be a mix of screen space, depending upon the element on screen, and the distance with an RT reflection pass. And then there's an indoor shot here of like all these people crowded around what looks like tables eating. And there, the time of day is changing, but if you look at the ground, there's some like polished marble, it appears to be, and you can get a really good sense both of the RTGI diffuse contribution to the scene as well as the really nice looking RT reflections here. So it's not very typical to have games that have like medieval aesthetics to have RT reflections, like Dragon's Dogma 2 didn't include them. But here, there's enough shiny stuff lying around that they thought it was a good enough thing to add in. And that does kind of actually rival stuff like you see with Lumen, where Lumen does both diffuse lighting and reflections, and their system does the same thing here too. But obviously we're seeing the game run at native 4K on an RX 7900 XTX last gen AMD GPU targeting 60 FPS, and that's something that you really wouldn't get out of a UE5 title. So I'm impressed at the fact that ray tracing is running this well on an older AMD GPU.
That's awesome.
It's actually running well. What is this? Seeing their water simulation stuff just makes me wish they would also make a pirate game. I keep saying it. I sound like a broken record. I know. Dude, a massive open world pirate game with like actual water sim, ship sailing. Dude, I would freaking love it. Dude.
What else is awesome though, going through your footage before, I think the thing that really stood out to me the most actually is the way they handle water, because usually when you have like streams of water, water
bingo, is that a bingo? Are you guys actually doing the bingo? Are you actually doing the bingo? Did I just accidentally do a bingo? Oh man, hold on. Where's the bingo? I mentioned, I did say I love me some pirate games. Which one? Which is the bingo? I did. Okay, we did mention this. Professional streamer. Did I talk about Todd today? Did I? Brain rot for 20 minutes. That's fair. Pretty close. I'm going to be a dad. I did mention that. I don't think anybody featured me today. Dude, this is so cursed. Okay, not yet. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Give me time. Give me time. I'll get you there. I'll get you there. We'll get there. Trust and believe. Trust and believe. Okay. Continuing.
Lapping up on shore. It was just a lot of like 2D effects, texture effects, particles, things like that to give you the impression of water like moving and like changing across the shore. But here they seem to have come up with some sort of like 3D displacement system for the waves where like it's like a physical body that washes up and recedes on shore, right?
Yeah, it appears to, one thing, a lot of games, they do have like a 3D deformation in some other games, but it's based upon just height only, right?
Right.
And here it appears that the water also has a, like at least the concept of it in what it's calculating also has a sense that it needs to fill space. So that means the down and below and back and behind it. So it's not just an up-down motion, but it can go backwards upon itself, which is a pretty rare thing. That's usually been faked in games with just
exactly.
like, some sort of...
Yeah, I can't think of another game that has water that looks that good. Like it's actually crashing. Like they're saying the water then spills back, just like actual waves do. I can't think of another game. Does anybody know of a game with water that looks that good? Does anybody know? I can't think of one. But Luke, you can play Skull and Bones, the very first quadruple A game. I can do that. I'm not going to, but I could. I don't think anyone else is either. They do have an update. I don't know if it actually already came out yet. This says a lot. I can't think of another, like, they did have an update coming where you could, they were adding like land combat, but I don't think that's even done yet. I'm not sure if that's out yet. I'm not sure. Starfield? Oh. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. Sea of Thieves? Sea of Thieves has much better like rolling waves out at sea, but I don't think even their waves are doing this kind of thing. Like, I don't think so. Hold on. Come on. Sea of Thieves beach. Maybe somebody put together footage of the waves crashing on the beach. Because like I'm specifically looking at the water like on land. Because I don't think the water on the land or out on at sea looks great. It looks fantastic. I love it. But I don't think the water on land, like the beaches, works the same way. Show me just getting close to land. I don't think I've ever seen, when you get close to islands, it levels out and is like way calmer. So I don't think it's even on that level. Windrose, Windrose looks cool. Let's see. I'm not sure even like this footage. Like it looks good. I don't think it's quite. Let's see. Turn the camera. Yeah, it's the same thing. It like gets really calm, so they don't have to simulate that stuff when you get up to the surface. So they'll do like these rolling waves in. That looks good. Like it looks good, but then it gets really flat and calm right as you get up to the surface of the beach, which it makes sense. Like it's very difficult to render and calculate something like this. So I get it, but I've never seen stuff like this before in a game. Eric Branke, thank you for the 10. It's old, but give Sid Meier's Pirates a shot. I grew up playing it on PC and Xbox once again. It's old, but pirate vibes are high. Yes, I actually got that specifically because I was literally Googling pirate games, like best pirate games ever made and stuff. I was trying to get a fix and I found that one. I've not booted it up yet, but I did like just a few weeks ago. I looked that up and found that, I'd heard about it, but I was like, you know what? No, I need to do this. And now I'm reminding myself that I bought that and I need to do that. So yes, thank you for the reminder. I will check it out. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Is the bingo the reason why my Todd prayer was not read? Is Luke a heretic? The game is getting in the way of our daily Todd affirmations. Dude, did I forget? You totally did post that prayer. I read it while I was doing I see. Okay, but I didn't read it out loud. You're right. I will catch up on Super Chats in just a minute, my friends. Thank you for being generous. I will be there in just a second.
Baked effect or some baked geometry that appears when something gets to the shore. And here you can actually see
that pirate software joke was good. I saw it. That's funny.
There's a number of shots here of the shore, but you can see it just like hitting against rocks and receding back down on itself, which is really awesome looking. And they use it for multiple, not just like the ocean style water or the seas in the game, but also it appears to be covering streams and rivers. And there it allows for pretty natural looking falling water, which once again, usually for most games, that would be something you'd have to like, I wouldn't say fake it, but it would be more like an artist driven thing instead of just systemically being as a part of how the water functions without much interaction.
Dude, even it's like the little bitty details. Like they even have weeds and stuff growing in these cracks of the boulders. I know it's all procedural and like obviously nobody hand placed it there, but that little attention to detail just goes a long way. A lot of games like it's rock, it's just rock, that's it. But like the little details really do add up and make it feel more lively.
That interaction also includes stuff from like your character or physicalized objects. And that's another thing that I kind of liked about this game. It's not fully present in the footage I've been provided here, but I saw it at the CES event, is that there's a lot of destruction in the game, and you'll see the character here going into the water and smashing like, what do you call them? Tree stumps?
Log, trunk, tree stumps.
And the game's trees and vegetation.
Wait, what's that? I don't think we've seen this city before, or this village. All red wood, it's all painted red. I don't know if we've seen that before. It's like a little coastal, maybe a river village or something. I don't think we've seen that before. I haven't noticed that before.
Is very destructible, which is pretty cool. And there's probably more destructible stuff that I haven't even seen yet, but when I play this game and this like PC ethos that it kind of exudes to me, is I always go back to the middle 2000s, and when I see games actually focusing on destruction again instead of like how good does the cinematic look, I get super excited, because that's like the stuff that got me into gaming technology, like the interactivity of worlds. So this game seems to have it in spades, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, and I think that that's the new meta, frankly. I think the new meta is not how shiny is your steel plate, how shiny is the glass, how reflective is the water. I think the ray tracing hype has been, people are frustrated by it and have been for a while, because it just feels like you suffer so many performance degradations for not a whole lot of payoff. At least that's how people feel. I do obviously understand that there's a lot of payoff for dynamic lighting, dynamic scenes. It's really useful for open world games with day-night systems. I get that. But I think a lot of people are like tired of hearing about ray tracing, because it's also paired with DLSS, so it's tied with upscalers, which a lot of players are frustrated by, because usually upscalers are a sign that a game is not properly optimized, and you have to use upscalers to get it to run half decent. That's why it's exciting to hear that they're rendering natively, and then upscalers are on top of that. But I do think the new meta is going to go back to like dynamics, physics sim, cloth sim, destruction, that type of thing. That's what really excites players nowadays, are those dynamics. And I think you'll see a lot more of it in the years to come. It's my big prediction. That's what I'm hoping for. Thank you. I'm sorry I can't read your name because I don't know how to read Japanese, but it says, I'm Japanese and my English isn't very good, but I really enjoy your content. I'm super excited for Crimson Desert. Thank you, my friend. Glad to have you here. Appreciate you, my friend. Glad to have you here. Much love. Much love. Welcome to Highguard. How dare you? So anyway, wrapping this up.
I mean, in real life, I also like to pick up giant tree trunks and smash them into the water into pieces. And now I can do it in game. It's great. So another thing, though, in this footage is that there's a lot of long range shots I noticed. And I'm curious, did you get any information about the way they're handling like distant LODs and such? Because it's something that varies a lot per game, and it's difficult to do right. Obviously, that was a big focus of Nanite from...
Dude, it's crazy to see how all of this changes just with the placement of the sun shifting. Like this forest, beautifully lit, this little like red crimson forest over here, beautiful, because the sun is behind us now. I don't know if it's morning or evening, but you know, it's the sun's behind us. But then you go forward and now the sun is about to go behind the mountains, and the light is caught here, casting a shadow across the whole landscape. Like, it changes the vibe so much, even though it's the exact same map. Just the time of day and night shifts the look that severely. How cool is that? That's what you get with true dynamic lighting. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Talk about day-night difference. My goodness. Or early day, late day difference. Doesn't flow off the tongue as well. King Cole, thank you for the 5. Crimson Desert is looking like a godsend game to bring back what good game standards is. Me, don't do that. Don't give me hope. Yeah, well, as I've said for months, okay, for months. So this is not me like giving you a coded message after the preview or something. As I've said for months, no game is perfect. I'm sure there's going to be hiccups and things that they could improve in a sequel and things that, oh, I would like if they changed this. I'm sure parts of it are going to be clunky or difficult to pick up, or the combat's not going to be your favorite. Because that's true of every game. Even like Red Dead 2, fantastic masterpiece of a game. There's still people that point to it and are like, yeah, but the questing is super slow and very 2010-esque, you know? There's always going to be problems with any game, no matter how great it is. I think what makes Crimson Desert exciting is that it seems to just be a refreshing breath of fresh air. That's what I mean. A breath of fresh air in an industry that has been running away from games like this. They run away from games that are really stupid ambitious, that are not built in with tons of monetization. You might get a big, massive game from like a Ubisoft, but it's balanced out with tons of monetization, and it's built in a way to push you towards monetization with like heavy grind and all sorts of stuff like that. You don't tend to see games that are just prioritizing dynamics and quote unquote fun factor with the scope and scale. And you just don't see games like this. You just don't. And that's why it's so exciting and so different. And a lot of people are getting excited for it. And you better believe it's also catching the eye of people within the industry. It is. For example, in the interview we did with Will Powers, and this is what I'll finish it on, then you should absolutely go and watch the full Digital Foundry thing. But in this interview I did with Will Powers, you'll see that there's a timestamp down here. Real quick, this is cool. I just wanted to let you know, Corey Barlog, the one and only from Sony Santa Monica, is in chat and said, quote, "The game is looking really great. Please pass on my admiration and congratulations for what the team has achieved. Truly cannot wait to get lost in this world."
I love Corey. I don't know if he knows this. We worked together on God of War.
I feel bad. Right as I tell him that, his internet started going out. I felt bad. But even like Corey Barlog was in chat during that interview and was giving them the praise, giving them their flowers, saying he's really excited for it. So people within the industry, people designing and actually doing stuff, are seeing the game, are excited for it, are talking about it. And that's, I think, in general, a good thing. It's important to remember that, you know, these games, they're not in a bubble just with you and me. There's even like the big movers and shakers at studios are seeing these games, seeing how people are reacting to it and are really, really into it. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But either way, tomorrow I will be able to talk about Crimson Desert at length. My goal is to drop the video, go live shortly after. Jacob said the video is ending at like roughly an hour, so I'll have my full preview impression video go up talking about, you know, the 6+ hours that I played. Then I will go live, that's the plan at least, and answer any questions. We'll do a full recap live with all of you guys, so if there's questions or clarifications you want, I can answer those and tackle that. And that will be, I think, the last big detailed dump before the review embargo on the 18th. So there might be like a week and a half of silence or less content on Crimson Desert as we lead into it, but we'll see. I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine they still have things that they're going to reveal, and maybe a launch trailer. Maybe they do like a console performance deep dive or something like that. That wouldn't surprise me. But we should, I think, have a lot to talk about tomorrow, I think. So, yeah. I watch using translation. I'm rooting for you. Oh, thank you, my friend. I'm glad to hear the translation's good. I don't know. Why is Pearl Abyss hiding base PS5 performance? Are they? Or are they gonna drop it and blow you away? Who can say? Does it run like ass? Or are they gonna wait and then slap you upside the head with something that impresses you? You know, you're hungry for something right now. What if they provide you something massive and meaty to chew on? Or maybe they don't talk about it at all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know. I'm just a guy, dude. I don't know. Okay, let me catch up on these. Thank you, my friends. Let me catch up on these real quick. I want Warhorse to do a pirate game so bad, says Luke Smith. Don't give me hope. That would be amazing. I am hoping to go out for KCD Fan Fest in August again. And when I do so, I will tell them that I really want them to do that. I'll offer to like give them a back rub or something if they make a pirate game. I got you. I'll do my best. Mr. Mo, thank you for the 5. Is this bingo the reason my Todd prayer? Oh, right. I need to read the Todd prayer. Hold on. There it is. Mr. Mo, 27 months. Glory be Todd, the Howard, and to the Son and the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, shall no longer and shall never be again. Pray for Elder Scrolls 6. Amen. Amen indeed. Amen indeed. Let's see. Does anyone remember Gummy Bears? It's the live service MOBA Bungie spun off into a new studio. It is still in development. Yes, somewhere. Who knows where that's at? Probably still a year or two. Let's see. Spoofman, thank you for the 5. Obviously, the situations are different, but a Final Fantasy XIV, a Realm Reborn is probably never going to happen again. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think that's just, at least not for a while. The industry right now is just a rough spot if you're trying to do live service stuff. Very, very rough stuff and super oversaturated. That's the real problem. Track Day Maker. Rip Highguard on March 12th. Gone and quickly forgotten. Gone and soon to be forgotten. Grandma's Boy movie was awesome, says Nomad. I don't know what that means. What's Grandma's Boy movie? I'm scared to Google it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to Google that. That's funny. Let's see. Okay, confirmed. Wool and Snail, thank you for the 5. Hey Luke, will your Crimson Desert video tomorrow have any information on base PS5 performance? There's like no information on it that I can find. I am not allowed to say anything about the video tomorrow until the video tomorrow goes up. Yeah, I let you guys know. I would ask questions and I would try to find out what I could. And tomorrow I will be able to talk about what I did or did not find out. So patience. Are you surprised with the Pocopia reviews? I will be honest, I was not really following the game. Reviews being good is encouraging. I don't know much about it beyond just quick perusing of the descriptions and stuff, but I'll check it out. I will say Nintendo stuff often, not always, because sometimes I see the reviews and I completely agree, but often Nintendo stuff ends up like 5 to 10 points higher than I would have rated it. Where they might give it like a B plus and I'm like, it's more of a C plus, you know? So I gotta check it out more because Nintendo reviewers tend to be generous. It's not Game Freak. That's why I'm more optimistic about it. That's why I'm more optimistic. I'll be real. Let's see. Okay, I read those. I read that one. Okay, read that one. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I read that one. Glory be to Todd, indeed. Luke, if both Marathon and Horizon Hunters underperform, do you think they'll finally cool it with live service? Like I said, I think they already are. They're just in too deep now. And I get it. If you already spent $80 million and the game is basically done, why cancel it now? So I can see what they mean. Joe Dunnett, thank you for the 2. When does your embargo lift? Like I said, the preview embargo lifts tomorrow. The review is on the 18th. Cat Attack, thank you for the 10. Highguard will officially go offline March 12th. Thank you again for letting us know. Francisco says, I'm on my knees begging Pearl Abyss to do a second run for the collector's edition. Amazon count yo days. They messed up my pre-order and I lost out on it. I actually did mention the pre-order situation to Will Powers. he did say it is well above his pay grade. He's like, that is way above me. So I did vocalize it. And I was like, dude, if you could do more, I think people would like it, because a lot of them got their orders canceled. But I think it's way above his pay grade. I think it's like a head honcho in Korea thing. So if the game does really well, I wouldn't be surprised if they do another run. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see, Warhorse Pirate game. I agree. Let's see, Sid Meier's Pirates. I saw that one. Thank you again, my friend, for coming by straight from Japan. Much love. Okay, read that one. Horizon Forbidden West Water is great. Glad to catch you live. Glad to have you here, my friend. TK McClone. There it is. Thank you for that. Glad to have you. Olive and Trees, thank you for the 2. Any romance in Crimson Desert I'd really like. I don't think they've said anything about romance. I personally would not hold my breath. There might be. I at this point, I genuinely don't know. I would not get my hopes up for romance. Maybe, but I personally would not get my hopes up with romance. I just don't think it's that kind of game. Like, as far as I can tell, and I've said this for months, it seems to me like an open world adventure game, not a narrative RPG. So I would not hold my hope or hold my breath. Maybe, but I mean, I would have said, if you were like, hey, do you think you're going to be able to ride a dragon a year and a half ago? I would have been like, I would not hold my breath for that. And then it ended up being real. So who knows? Who knows? And then, oh yeah, thank you for the other super chat about using translation. That's awesome that works. Thoughts on Blood of Dawnwalker? I think it looks awesome. That's another great example of a game that probably is going to launch and be like a B. I'm just being real. Typically, first studio or brand new studio first games are like a B plus. At max. It's very rare to get like an Expedition 33, but if it's like a B, I could see the sequel being an A plus. So I think that one has so much potential. I'm so interested in seeing what they do with it. Yeah, I'm very, very interested in that for sure. Nate, thank you for that. 10. Luke, do you think the next time we see Jeff in person, will the crowd confront him, or will he take a dig? P.S. Crimson Desert makes me giddy in my pants. Looks great, just need uppies. Bethesda, step it up. Dude, I do think everything we're seeing really makes it look like a lot of studios aren't even trying. I'm going to be real. If they do what they say they're doing, it makes it look like studios like Ubisoft, BGS, like they're not even trying anymore. It's outrageous. It's so crazy. As for, do I think the crowd will confront it? If you remember, there's occasionally a like some light jeering that happens. Like this, the famous one.
Am I ready for the Game Awards?
The Game Awards 2015.
Seifert.
Thank you for sticking around. It just shows the power and promise of gaming. All right, it is finally time for Game of the Year. You guys ready? Okay. Fan choice. And the winner for Game of the Year 2015 is...
I swear to God!
The Witcher 3.
Poor Todd. So I think there might be a little jokes where like, but I guess he sees them coming. So I think at the next Game Awards, if he's like, and now our final announcement, I think then people will be like, Highguard 2. I think you'd see that. So I don't think he's going to do that. I think their final trailer will be like, either they'll just roll straight into it. I don't think they want to give the audience a chance to jeer like that, because there will be people who yell out Highguard 2. Like they're gonna do it. So I think they'll be aware of that and they'll avoid it. They've learned a lot since this era, personally. I think so. I think they'll avoid it. Not to mention nowadays they bring in so many industry people. Nobody wants to be that guy who's like making fun of or poking fun at the guy that invited them, you know? Like none of the industry guys want to poke fun like that. So they're just, I think the odds are quite low, but it would be funny. It would be funny. Kino, thank you for that one. Bingo soon. I had a lot of fun making it with the help of the Discord. We have a lot of other choices to change it to. I feel we will have bingo most streams. Yeah, dude, now I gotta be I not even cautious, but now I'm genuinely interested in how often I do that stuff. It's gonna be fun. We gotta think of a prize. Like, what does somebody get if they get a bingo? If they're the first one to say bingo after it happens, I'll have to think of something. Maybe we do like a game giveaway if they do that. That could be fun. We can do that. Luke, I'm starting to finish my playthrough of KCD2. Any advice or beginner, or I'm starting my first playthrough of KCD2. Any advice or beginner tips? Biggest thing is like literally take your time. Do not rush it. Take your time. Work your way through it methodically. Like, it is a game that is so amazing if you just give yourself over to it. Open your heart. You know, don't try to force it. Let the natural process take place, and you'll just slide right into its sweet embrace. It's fantastic, but you do have to like give yourself over to it. It is a slower paced game. It's a very immersive game, but you will have the most fun when you're like, I'm gonna go hunting, and I'm gonna cook the food, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna brew some potions, and I'm gonna go out and do this quest. Okay, now I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna hit up the baths because I'm a dirty boy. You know, that's when you have a great time. What is really good about starting now is that if you get the season pass thing and you get the Legacy of the Forge DLC, you will have basically a home base from when you enter Kuttenberg. So I think you're primed to have a great time. But I would really encourage you, get the DLCs, because if you play through the whole game with Legacy of the Forge, for example, I think it's going to really change things and help. So yeah, recommend that. Okay, fam. Much love. I have to go in a little bit and pick up my boy from his school. So I will be calling it here. I will be back. The plan is tomorrow after the High Guard Impressions video goes up, so we can talk about it on stream. If you're not subscribed to the main channel, just search in the search bar Luke Stevens. Subscribe to that channel. Do it. Just do it, okay? Because that video will go up live there. Subscribe, ring the bell so you see it, okay? And then we'll go live and I'll schedule it so we can do that, okay? Okay? High Guard. We'll play High Guard. You want me to play High Guard? No. No, we did talk about High Guard earlier in the stream. If you're waiting for me to talk about it, we did talk about that right as the news broke. Just rewind the VOD and you can see it, okay? Okay. Yeah, no High Guard. Now I'm getting conflicting messages. Yeah, guys, we were going to talk about Crimson Desert. I figured we'd just play some High Guard. Anyway, much love, everybody. I will see you in the morning or afternoon, whenever it is. I don't remember. Much love. I'll see you soon. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye. Mwah!